And welcome to MotoGP Mac. Right after the last testing session, Sepang, a lot to go over. It was very fun. 3 days of testing.
No
Uh,
sleep.
no sleep. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well,
Yes,
actually, I was snoozing. You were yapping,
I
and
was
I was
I was
snoozing.
yapping. Yes,
Yeah.
yapping and yelling. And now the people were very good. A lot of good guys. Um, fanboys on Thursday were on Friday were Yamaha ones. Then we had fanboys on Saturday, right? Yeah,
Mm.
and then but they got rid of them. I mean, we had some absolute nuts. We did. We had a couple
I
of them.
did. I did see one comment where people were asking you to boot out the fanboys. I thought that was
Yes.
like, no, yeah, yeah. So just so people would know, Sepang started at 2 a.m. Irish time. So I would start the stream in the middle of my sleep, and then I would be semi-conscious for the middle of the night, except for when Jake would be ringing me to say there's something happened to the stream. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't even talk to you, man, because it'll wake the house.
Yeah.
So then I was trying to figure it out, and yeah, look, it was good. It was a great stream. A lot of new people. Thanks again, Jake, for stepping in and
I was
manning
having
it. You
fun. I
know,
was having fun. Yeah.
yeah. Look, it's even though that I was quite half asleep through it, there was a lot of stuff that went on there, and a lot of good things, strange
Mhm.
things. But I think it's really made the old appetite for getting MotoGP racing on again. Like Portimao
Everybody's pumped.
can't come,
Everybody's pumped to go.
can't
Yeah.
come fast enough. Cannot come fast enough in my view. Now, Jake, you are looking fairly stylish today, and people may
Oh
know
yeah.
that we are wearing the same color t-shirts.
Yep.
Here are the official MotoGP Mac t-shirts.
Yes.
We are. They would
They're
be
actually nice.
they're actually nice. I know.
Yeah.
Imagine that they're
Yeah.
actually quality products.
Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah. And I also have one of the first and only MotoGP Mac mugs for a mug. But yes, the testing. Anything or what is the major thing that stood out for you in testing?
Oh,
One thing that is like you wanted to see since Valencia.
well, I know the tests. I remember the test from last year, and I just wanted to see. I really wanted to see Yamaha and what they were going to do. Well, even because we predicted this. Remember, we
Yep.
predicted this. We said Yamaha's going to come in there. They're going to for cakes like smoke and mirror show. They're going to go like hell, right, on down the
Mhm.
straights, and then they're going to have a crap, lap time. And
Yeah.
sure enough, it was on MotoGP.com, and I laughed because it said Yamaha bewildered on why they have bad lap times. We're going, no shit. It's all aero, and you can't because
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Now,
already
now,
said the
look.
aero package doesn't work. Fabio.
Yeah.
So
Now, what a subscriber did say that they were very happy to see Morbidelli and Quadraro on similar lap time, and
not when
I was like, no. I was like, I wouldn't be happy with that at all. We know Quadraro is a second faster than at least than Morbs, right? Even at the end of last year, the bike isn't not a revolution; it's an evolution. So Morbs is not going to gather a second that quickly. It's only actually going to be the other way. It should slow down. I think you're bang on right. Like they have a new swing arm. It's chunkier, especially around the tire section. I don't know if you noticed
yes.
it.
Mhm.
They do have a new frame, and they were messing around with aerodynamics quite a lot. And for me, what really came out of it is that they're going for a low drag or as low as
Yes.
possible drag,
Mhm.
which is actually scary because if they've fixed this engine issue,
It
which
wouldn't
they
have that
claim,
problem.
they'd be putting wing on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is my view. Now, this is
Not even a
also
view. Not even a view. That's one that Quartararo had. If you look at that package, he went out on that on a race day on free practice one or free practice two, and went 2 laps on that. Came back and said it destroyed my handling. I cannot use it. Take it off. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but I think that there's a couple of things that I really noticed. Firstly, the Ducati has not at all slowed down, right? It's
No, no,
probably got faster, right?
it did get faster. Matter of fact.
okay, in the race though, in the race weekend, they hit 339 kilometers an hour, right?
Right.
And they hit 337 today, right?
Right. But it was faster than last time's practice, was what I mean.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
what I mean is that you can be 100% that that's going to hit 340 kilometers an hour, 341, 342 the next time they go there for a race. Like, I have a full thing that they're not using full map or full power in that engine just yet. Do you know what I mean?
And get this. Then they also have the option, if the sprint races are wearing the engines too much, they can back that power off, get more reliability, all right, and still have a margin.
Yep. They can
You know what I'm
manage
saying?
that.
They got both ends of the stick going there.
The only thing I found very interesting about that was that Aprilia matched them today in the speed traps, right?
Yeah.
Now, we'll go back to Yamaha though, right? Firstly, the wings, like there's no Stegosaurus wings, right? Which nearly everyone has except Aprilia and KTM, right? But like Honda are vested into them. Ducati are majorly vested into them.
And Yamaha had them. Why did they take them off?
Exactly, right? And this is where I'm going with. They're going a major low drag option. And I'll do a video on the wings that Yamaha use and it kind of explain it a little bit more. But you know, I am actually now more worried about Yamaha now than before the fucking test. So thanks very much, Ducati. I am fascinated with Ducati. They tested absolutely nothing really. Okay, they were mapping the engine. Okay, the new engine. Pecco said that it's more aggressive at touch. So like when you crack the engine at the on corner exit, but you know they're saying it's really really beneficial. So the fact that they were working on that and also the side pod area, I think Gigi is looking at something really really specific. Do you know what I mean? The fact that they didn't change too much on the bike. Like, no, they had a new swing arm on, okay, but they didn't change. And I think this is where it differs, I suppose, to Yamaha. Yamaha were changing aerodynamics. They were changing, you know, obviously with the setup, they were changing mappings and etc. Where Ducati were really, really, really fine tuning on a point.
Yeah.
Because look, we're not going to see anything from the Ducati, and you kind of knew that we weren't going to see anything from Ducati till Portimao, right?
Ducati always putzes around in these tests and just does setup. They don't. It's almost like crazy. It's almost like they have a track on the side somewhere. You notice that?
Yeah. It's
Yamaha. By the way, when you say that, when you're talking about aggressiveness, they were saying that the Yamaha engine is more aggressive, and I'm wondering if they didn't, for one, for power, two, for reliability. Okay, they didn't go get rid of the cross plane and go with a flat plane crank. Because see, the thing with a cross plane is it doesn't have the balance of a flat plane crank.
Yeah.
So.
But for me, this is very worrying. Very worrying. It's like if this engine is aggressive, as they say, is that going to chew the rear tire?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Are they going to have to dial up the electronics and it fucks them coming out of the corner? So it's like, what is the balance there? Ducati, I think they're just simply working on the engine and that side pod aerodynamics, and it's kind of, I suppose it's right to like they don't really need to fuck around with anything else on the bike. Do you know what I mean? The bike is already good enough.
They're always something out like we don't have to come out. Why?
Why do I need to do a lap? Do you know what I mean? Look, we just go out.
Already.
We just go out there and just for the sponsors. Do you know what I mean?
Aprilia's close on though. Aprilia.
Aprilia, yeah. And what I found fascinating with Aprilia was that so we know that Oliveira and Fernandez are on the Valencia Spec 22 bike, so they're not on a full works. They are in a full works from last year. If they're doing well in the championship, what Razlan said was, i.e., Aprilia would send support.
Okay, yeah.
So
Can they change the whole bike? I know you cannot change the engines. We all have that down.
Yeah,
you know the rules.
They can change everything on the bike except the engine.
But can they take and say, okay, the whole? Can they go from a 22 to a 23?
Yeah, the chassis.
Take the whole. Take the whole thing and say, okay, instead of a 2022 bike, now you have next race you have a 2023 bike.
Mm-hmm.
They can?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
The chassis is not locked to you. Do you know what I mean? Because the chassis bends. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, all right. I was curious. I know they couldn't change the engine, but I didn't know if they could just change it. I thought, can they change the whole motorcycle? Instead of giving Oliveira a 22, can they give him a 23?
Yeah. So like last year, for example, Bastianini on the 21 got 22 parts.
Right, but could they have given him a whole 22 motorcycles? I'm saying.
Yeah, everything except the engine. So technically, it would never be a 22. Do you know what I mean? It would be a 22.
Okay. Then they can't give him a whole bike.
But they can't give him a whole. Yeah, they can. As long as the engine fits the chassis, they can give him whatever chassis he wants.
Okay, but they can't give him a whole new motorcycle like that. They can't say, okay, here's a 23. They can't.
Yeah. So like for instance, like you've heard of it in the past, where someone has gone back to a year previous chassis.
Yes, I've heard of that before. Yes. Yeah. I didn't know if there was a weird loophole in there because that happens sometimes.
No. You can the chassis and the chassis is free. The engine's not.
Okay.
But yeah, really interesting with the Aprilia that Miguel Oliveira was actually testing the T-wing, on the back of the Aprilia.
Oh, the T-wing again. They brought that back.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought it was interesting, and then. You know, like some of the stuff, like Crayfair said that they touched absolutely everything. The bike is narrower, the aerodynamics are updated, the chassis is updated, the electronics are updated, the swing arm is updated, and I'm like going, Jesus, like, you know, is that a bit risky? You already have a really
yeah, I know. Did you see Ducati? You're saying, did you see Ducati last year? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have another new team, and they have sprint races. Hey.
Yeah. And look. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. I genuinely think Oliveira is going to upset the apple cart with the lads. And it will be. I don't know. I think they're going to be fireworks actually within the teams. Then, do you know what I mean? Like Aleix Espargaro we know is an emotional person. Like, you know, like Saturday he was bitching and moaning, like, you know, it's a waste of a day being out there, and you're like, well, tough fucking shit. Like, everyone has to be out there. You know what I mean? If you don't want to ride, go home back to your hotel room and don't ride. And he's a lovely guy, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, I hate people coming around after and saying, like, now he does open a good point, right? That you have a certain amount of test days and you get to a test day and it's raining and you don't want to test wet setup. Should you be allowed to save the day?
Should you be able to save the day, do you say?
Save the day, as in not have to test.
Okay,
keep your allocation of days. Do you know what
I don't have your Irish English down all the time. So yeah, no, you're an employee. You go out there. You know, when the men were men, the sheep were scared.
Oh, I know, but that's the point. The point I'm trying to make is that if testing is so crucial, which it is, and it's raining, and most of them, let's be fair, only a few will go out. Do you know what I mean? But as a team, could they turn around and say, listen, look, it's wet running. We've nothing to try. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not in our program. Like you could see with Yamaha, they were rushing through a program of testing, right? Like, you know, I don't know. Look, there was not a lot of running in the wet. I'm like, should it even be happening if it's wet? Would they? Now look, Malaysia is a tricky one as well anyway, because it always rains in the afternoon. Yeah. Always 4:00 is danger zone. KTM, I was quite impressed with KTM actually.
A lot of new stuff on KTM. When you talk about with Aprilia, they touched everything. Aprilia has changed everything. I kept telling people that what you see here is what you get, because there is no sandbagging. Because if they see somebody else has something new, there's not enough time to change it to copy them even. All right.
Yeah. Like so 4 weeks is not even enough now.
Yeah. So whatever path you're on and whatever path they're on, we're both staying on the same path that we're on. We're not going to change from that, right?
Yeah.
But so what you see is what you get, except for KTM, because I thought I can't say how they have everything sorted out, because they changed totally the chassis, totally the engine. Apparently, the engine is totally new from the ground up.
It's slow.
What?
It's slow.
I did not check on this speed on that. Is it slow?
They are slow, yeah, compared to the rest of them. They're
that's surprising. They're usually fast. They've been historically fast.
Yeah. They were last in the speed traps. Now look again. Let's not read too much into the speed traps today and this test, but I did notice though that they were just
a lot of aero change.
A lot of aero. There's a lot of aero being pushed there, like especially their hammerhead. I think they might be a little bit hammerhead side pod. I think they might be a little bit ahead of actually Aprilia in that space. See the curve on the end of it as well. It's like a channel. I was just like going, this is Red Bull anyway. Definitely, like they found something. You know what I mean? Now, like, also, I loved the fact of under the air intake, the split where the wing is. I'm like, that is definitely going to be developed way further into the back of the bike, and they're going to channel, like they're going to use that to drive air or drive the front of the bike down, but then drive air into the radiator. Do you know what I mean? You could see it coming, like, you know. But yeah, look, they have definitely a direction. Whether it's the right or wrong one, we're going to find out. Honda.
Oh, Honda! My God, talk about a mess. They got no aero. Okay, they won bike with no aero. All right. Yeah. They came out and they had a 2018 swing arm and a 2021 aero. That's the stuff of, oh my God, we're lost. This throws shit against the wall. And by the way, the one gain that they made this year, the Cadillac swing arm, they couldn't have that. Of course, now they have to have Honda do it because of corporate ego. Oh, we can't have anybody help us. So then they have to have their own aluminum swing arm, which, by the way, is old tech. Let's not kid anybody. So they had 4 bikes. And they got rid of 2 originally. Like, bang, bang, that's junk. All right.
Well, yeah, okay, but at least they were the older bikes. Right?
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
No, the one was the experimental. The new bike, their experimental bike, what they call it, experimental, that was the one that had the 2018 swing arm and the 2021 aero. That's experimental.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's like the Three Stooges. They have a zillion engineers in there, and everybody's like running into each other like a video game.
Yeah, but now I look at it a little bit differently, the way they brought out the bike with no aero. I find that actually very interesting. Because
good history lesson, I guess. And but you always love no aero. You're like, when the men were men and we don't need that. You're just we're running by our right hand and our balls. Yeah.
yeah. You're the best riders in the world.
You don't have them. We don't need that stuff.
Exactly. Proper fucking.
I don't care if they're going 300 miles an hour around a bend now.
Suck it the fuck up. Exactly. Right. Yeah. But I just thought,
what are they gonna do with you?
For me, it was back to backing. Like, it was like, you're 100% right. They're lost, right?
Yeah.
So take the bike out with no wings, and now you have a baseline. It can only get fucking better from there.
Yeah, it can only. Yeah, that's gonna say. It can only get better. It can only go up.
Yeah. Right, and it was Bradle riding it. So look, if he does crash and injure himself for the season. Now, touching wood, we hope that would never really happen, but it might be the best thing for Honda to get rid of Brad.
Well, he is like 2 seconds off all the time. So how much can you learn off
Exactly.
How much good feedback can you get for somebody's 2 seconds?
Accurate feedback. Zero. Zilch. Nothing.
Every dog has his day. I think his is
I think it's time up. But then who do you replace him with? It's the same problem KTM have. Well,
yeah.
Well,
Honda just has weak engineering. That's all there is to it.
No,
I do. Break out the KTM story again.
I do believe that Kawuchi. I think he'll help. I'm not sure Honda will let him help to actually fix it, but I think he'll help. And I think I genuinely think I'm going to say that I was impressed by Honda, not the performance, but they came out early with their bike and they stuck to it. Do you know what I mean? That they were actually trying to make this work.
Yeah.
Whereas someone with no real direction, that bike would have been changing every 3 minutes on the fucking track. Do you know what I mean? Your man would have been, not this shit. Tried it. After Mark was quite. I would
love that he was a teacher when I was a kid. Oh, he's stupid as hell, but at least he tried hard. Everything's an F, but he tried hard. We'll give him another grade for it. We'll let him pass through.
Yeah. That's called a special grade, man.
Yeah. Instead of giving him, won't be on the podium, but they'll give him a nice special and an honorable mention for trying hard at the races.
It's called a participation medal.
Oh, it's a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
When I used to be a race director in go-karts, and explaining to people, what the blue flag actually means. And you know what the blue flag means, don't you?
Get off. Yeah.
No, it just means that there's a great race coming and you're not part of it.
Yeah.
So move.
Move.
And that's a very polite way of saying you're too fucking slow.
Slow, right.
Yeah.
And by the way, folks, we really don't have bias against any manufacturer. Mac's an avid Yamaha fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's just calling it like we see him. You can't, if you have half a brain, you're going to look at him and go, wow, they're screwed up. And they've been doing this for 10 years, guys. 10 years. That bike has been screwed up for 10 years. They've been working on this thing. So to think it's going to, magically get better, they just have weak engineering. They've been relying on Mark Marquez.
Yeah, I think you're right. The bike has been bad for a lot of years, but Honda were always very lucky that they had really good riders.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only when Pedrosa started tailing off, did Honda's problems actually really start coming to surface, because they always had that main alien.
Yeah,
and then they had. While he was an alien, he was never to Stoner or Marquez level.
Yes.
Let's just call it, right?
Yes.
But he's still an alien. But then when he went, they had no more real aliens. Lorenzo came in, but Lorenzo, in my view, he was already done. He was already scared.
He was done.
The fear was there.
Yeah, he was done at the Ducati. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, Jake, I have another thing that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
You're going to be a little bit upset.
That me upset? Never.
So for the past week, I've betrayed the internal combustion engine.
Oh, don't you tell me. Don't you go there.
Yeah, so I got a loan of an electric car.
Oh, you poor soul. You poor soul.
Yeah, being alone with your thoughts is never ever a good thing, because there's no engine noise, there's no brum brum, right?
Yeah.
And there is no gearbox, or there's no clutch, or there's no thing, so it's a really boring drive. And now there's claw marks on the dashboard where I've gone for the gear stick or whatever. But
in the United States, people they can't drive stick.
Oh yeah, well here and it's the actual reverse here. A manual or a stick shift is cheaper than an automatic here, whereas over in the States, a stick is more expensive than an automatic there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they never have them. People look at you, go, stick. I mean, grown men, and I look at them, I keep saying, you want to dress? You know what I mean? What do you mean you know how to drive a stick? I mean, I'm like the last one. I'm the last of the men were men.
Yeah, but I find it funny. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, right? There's a lot of horsepower, instant power in the engine,
A lot
right?
of torque.
A lot of torque,
Right on top, yeah.
Now, like you can't go above 7. Well, you can, right? It took it. I won't even say in case they're watching, but like you get to like say 70 miles an hour, right? And that's then where, and this is where I find really interesting about it, right? Because it's actually teaching me about the aerodynamics of
Right.
certain things, right? Because if I drive along at, say, well, it's 115 kilometers an hour, right?
Yeah.
It won't affect the range as much as if I do 120. So, like, it's only 5 kilometers an hour, which is nothing, right?
Right.
But, like, if I push it to 120, it shortens the range by 30%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But if I stay at 115,
Right.
it's about 15%. It's like half of
I wouldn't trust it. It
Yep.
sounds fishy. I wouldn't trust the gauge at that point.
You can't. So you can't. So because like
I
if
know.
you
That
drop
doesn't
the
make
foot,
any sense. That doesn't make sense.
but as your speed goes up, right? Now it's a big car. It's not a small thing, right? So it's an aerodynamic brick, really, right? But saying that, and then I was just thinking to myself, then is like, the electric car is good, and I can now understand why someone would buy an electric bike to go in a straight line.
Uh,
Do you know what I mean? Because it would just like fucking rocket. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? But yeah, so I'm saying that I would possibly drive an electric car, but I will never drive an electric bike ever.
No, the bikes, they have no range. They're
No.
like, no, they have nothing.
And they fall over, and there could be an explosion of yeah, you don't want to see lithium blow. Anyway, Jack Miller was out saying that, and this is something I was trying to figure out about the KTM. So he said, what makes this bike good in the wet is its weak point in the dry.
Huh?
Yeah. So I think he's on about chassis flex.
Okay.
I think that has to what it is. But he's like we're flying around in the wet and the dry, then we struggle a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what, the steel trellis chassis, it is 20, 30 years old now, but it's always been a chassis that you can make work, but it has to be dead spot on, and it's so hard to get that. It's much harder to get a setup on that bike, on a steel trellis chassis, than your traditional aluminum box section frame. I keep saying MV had that when they were spot on, they're running strong. They were the best one on the track, but then they get off, and then you're 12th. And it looks the same thing's happening with KTM, but it's so hot now that the horsepower is so high. It makes every time that horsepower goes up, race engineering for chassis gets harder.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Honda's having the biggest problem. They couldn't figure out race engineering years ago when it was 180 horsepower. Now you're getting double that. What do you think they're going to do now? Now they're just,
pissing in the wind.
Yes,
is an Irish saying. Pissing in the wind.
Oh, it's here too. I'm half Irish. I heard it all my life. But they need to go and sub it out. But when they dumped Calyx, I couldn't believe it when I heard that. Like how the only forward momentum they had was the Calyx swing arm, right? The aluminum
100%.
Calyx swing arm. And Honda got rid of it. They said they did it their own. They said, "Oh no, we can't have somebody else do it. We're going to do our own." That's corporate ego. And by the way, folks, the aluminum swing arm is old tech. Simon Crafar told us. He said, "Listen, you can tell when the Honda's caught up because they're going to have to make a carbon swing arm work to make the whole chassis work. So until you see that, they're dead in the water."
Yamaha make their chassis work with an aluminum or an aluminium swing arm.
They're still
aluminium.
Oh, they are? Okay, I was going off of what Crafar said.
No, they're still aluminium. Always are aluminium. They tried
Really?
the carbon,
Okay.
but it was too stiff for their chassis.
Oh, okay. Well, Thank God, maybe they got a little hope going that way. You know, I'm trying. It's hard to pick out the positives anymore.
It is like now. I think Mark was very astute after his after the test. He's like, I'm just giving the feedback. It's up to the engineers to work it out. I'm not going to try and influence anyone. And I think that is you give me the fucking bike. Now he's already said that the bike is a top 5 bike. He's not expecting any more than that at the current where the bike currently is. He's like, it's still all the same problems.
And you know him. He was always, I'm going to win. I always have, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. We can win. We can win. For him to say it's a top 5, you might as well say it's in the back.
Well, look, but I don't know who's more depressed leaving Sepang. Is it Marc Marquez or is it Fabio Quartararo? Because like he said, this test has been a disaster for Yamaha. That's
Quartararo said that?
Yeah, an absolute disaster of a situation that they're in. And look, it must be frightening. In fairness, for those two lads, right? They're beating on a drum. They have some of the best engineers in the world, and they can't figure it out.
No, now I'll disagree on that. I can say Yamaha is a stronger engineering department than Honda. Yeah, but Honda's lost. But Yamaha just went the wrong way. You know, like they had a V4 in their garage, they would be doing well. Give them a year or something. But I think they have the engineering strength to do it, to be competitive. Honda, they've been sitting on their hands, working on, relying on Marquez so long. That's like I said, they're the Three Stooges.
Yeah, but look, Honda have the budget and the money to farm that shit out, right?
Yeah, but they're farming out. But the thing is, they're not farming it out.
Well, yeah. Oh, I know. But like, that's what I'm still calling that's a controllable that they're not controlling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they could. I keep saying they should farm it out. I've said it 100 times. They should farm the whole chassis out. We said that last year. Remember?
Yeah. But like, I just think it's pretty concerning for people in that where the season hasn't even started. You're calling it a disaster. Do you know?
Yeah.
And Mark turning around and saying it's a top 5 bike.
Yeah. And next year, consistency is going to be the big deal. It's going to be I think at the forefront with the sprint races. People are not taking that into consideration.
Well, that's the thing. It's like sprint races are going to cause, in my view, a massive. Well, sorry, it's not a massive problem, but it is a massive problem for people because it's going to cause, obviously, extra work, right? But extra workload. Your engineers are going to get tired. Mistakes are going to creep in.
Mechanics, yes.
You know what I mean? And let's forget about rider fatigue, rider injury. All of a sudden, you crash there on a Friday practice and you don't make the weekend. What's that, 37 points or something that you're going to be down 36 points?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It also, I suppose, in my view, right, and you'll give out to me about this too, but the old records of people, points and race wins and all of this, right? It kind of diminishes that. Do you know what I mean? Because if you have a great bike and all of a sudden you take 30 race wins in a fucking year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the record's going to be gone.
Points and all that. They're just like, ugh. You know, and then going back to when men were men and do you know what I mean? There was 10 races or 12 races in a year. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to be talking, well, he did like 7, or he won 97.3% of the races that he entered. And, do you know what I mean? And look, I just think MotoGP went a little bit to the other side of knee-jerk reaction. I think F1 have it in the right balance. There's been a couple of races a year that it has a sprint, and it's not a sprint race. Remember that? It's a sprint. Because it's the person that wins the sprint race, while they do get points, it's not recorded as an F1 race win. It's recorded as
that's dopey. I don't understand that one at all.
But I think they have it right that there's like 6 or 7 of them throughout the calendar year, not every single race. So, and I think like Silverstone this year, when it comes. it's going to be just two boring races.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Field spread out in lap one, and that's the end.
Yeah.
Of it,
But with these sprint, it's surprising that we had the sprint races. They didn't know this was coming because you have the sprint races, yet you have all these bikes with all these changes. There's been more changes this year than previous years.
Yeah.
And then you have the sprint races. So they didn't know that sprint races were coming, or they would have held a pat hand.
But
They wouldn't change things, folks. They would have kept that hand pat.
But there's
that would be the smart thing to do.
But
they didn't know it was coming.
There's a load of riders, there's a load of riders that the sprint race doesn't suit their race style.
Oh yes, I know.
So like you'd have the likes of Bastianini, Viñales, what's his name?
I don't think Pecco starts out that fast. He might jump to the front, and his pace, he creeps up the pace. He doesn't jump on the pace.
But there's
Marquez jumps on the pace. He goes balls to the wall right.
Yeah, exactly. So like sprint will suit him. Sprint will suit Jack Miller.
Yeah.
But like then say maybe Paul Espargaro, again, not elite. It can depend on the elite, but I just think, for some, and then again for some riders who already know that they have no chance of winning the race because it'll eat their fucking tire, they're going to be setting their tire up or their bike up for the sprint race and get as maximum amount of points in that. And it's just
they want that 15 minutes in the sun, buddy. They're going to go for it. Yeah.
15 minutes in the sun, my arse. They want that bonus.
Well, yeah, that don't hurt.
I think I am looking forward to sprints. Don't get me wrong, but I just think.
Me too.
Was it a feast or a famine? I think they just went a bit overboard with it.
And the rookies too. Can you imagine if you were a rookie, wouldn't you come in there going, you know what? I'm going to go balls out for the 10 laps. How good are you? They're going to say, let's see. They have confidence in that 10. I may not be able to beat them in the whole race, but I may be able to lick them for a short, that short sprint. I might be ahead of be able to pull it off.
Talking about him, actually, I was super impressed with him. I know he's on a 22.
Who are you talking?
Fernandez.
Who? No, not Raul.
No, Augusto.
Augusto, yes.
He's a rookie. Yeah, and like he's rookie of the year.
Yeah. Ready?
But he was case-wise in some of those sessions, he was actually ahead of Fernandez. And I'm going to benchmark him off Fernandez on the Aprilia. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, right? That the Aprilia was such a good bike in 2022.
Yeah.
But I think he's the only rook. Well, like Bezzecchi was brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And out of the rest of them, I personally think that Raul was the poorest rookie. Like I think it should be Remy Gardner in Raul's place, if I'm honest. And I know I might take a bit of flack for that, but
no, I'm not here.
But I will look to put the two Fernandezes against each other, and just to see. And I have a good feeling that Augusto has the character and the mental capacity to make it work. He's also under pressure straight away with Costa coming up.
Yeah.
Because I think KTM would look very fucking stupid if he did well and they just dumped him, because I would think Honda would be all over him. Augusto Fernandez is not because whatchamacallit, KTM there is not a fucking chance they will leave Acosta go to any other manufacturer.
No way.
They have
so much vested in him, so they're going to try to keep him at all costs.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? You know what we didn't bring up? We must have sleep deprivation. What about Alex Marquez being ahead of Mark Marquez for most of this? Oh my God! Can you imagine that car ride home when they got home? Oh man, Mark wasn't even letting him use the Nintendo. Like, get out of
Nintendo.
Yeah. You can't have the Nintendo? Yes, I eat your cookies. Get out of here, you bastard.
How's the day going? Fuck off. Yeah. It's definitely an interesting plane ride on the way home, isn't it? And imagine it's just like, when I
calling his mom, he beat me. He's picking on me.
Yeah, Mom, put some eye drops in his dinner tonight, will you? Make sure he doesn't make the next day's test. But no, look, it's great. And look, Alex Marquez has had an awful time with Honda the past couple of seasons, and it's hopefully going to be nice to see him on a bike, and we see the potential that he can do and show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of things which I feel sorry for him, right? He is Marc Marquez's brother, right? He's probably one of the fastest ever.
Who? Marc Marquez. Yeah.
And you have to be his brother. It's the same as Ralph Schumacher, right? Being Michael Schumacher's brother. Right?
Yeah.
Like, at least Alex has won championships.
Yeah, if he didn't, oh man.
But like, he is a world champion, and he has the pedigree, and it's great to be able to see what he can do with it. What will he do with it? I expect Gigi to be quite close to him, as it not Gigi Dall'Igna, the other fella, Digi Antonio. I expect him to be, as his teammate, being quite close to him on lap times, because DG has to fight for his seat for the end of the season as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if he's not performing, now
DG always had the right build. You look at the best build for a MotoGP kid, right? I say kid, I'm old. They're short, okay, of course, but they have broad shoulders, so they're lean, but they got big shoulders and like for their body size, they have long body, short legs. They're like strong. They're like little pit bulls, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way DG is. That's the way Marc Marquez is.
Bastianini's like that as well.
Yeah, Bastianini, right? Or they're real long string beans. One of the two. Yeah. So he has the right build. He said that kid looks fast. But I just haven't seen it from him yet. But you still have to have the reflexes. Let's not kid anybody.
Yeah, look.
Now you're born with.
Yeah, look, there is raw natural talent there. I have to say, but I'm definitely interested as well. Though Mir and Rins were quite understated actually in the whole test. Do you know what I mean? It was just
Mir. That's because they were at the bottom. He popped up there once, but that was just.
That was just to say hello.
Yeah.
That was just to say hello. And look, and like I just thought it was interesting, all the fuss Honda would like to make about them. They were just quite subdued. It's probably right, trying to get used to the Honda. Do you know what I mean? But I think.
But hey, speaking of getting used to, look how well Oliveira did. Realize, folks, he didn't have many miles on that Aprilia period, and he was running up the top a lot. For when he had when it was dry session. I mean, for a guy that just jumped on the bike, he was doing damn well.
He was. I was quite impressed with him. I think he's going to be a problem for Maverick and Elite.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think there's going to be a little bit of, how would I say, discontent in the Aprilia garage or the factory team. Like Razdan's coming out on this thing, like Aprilia are hoping that we're ahead of them. No, they're fucking not. Do you know what I mean? You're on the old bike and it's now faster than the new bike. Go away, will you? For fuck's sake. But
they say Alex Marquez is over the moon, by the way.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I wonder, right? When like Marc Marquez was probably one of the happiest people 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Even though the Honda was a pig.
Yeah, he's not great because he was winning. He's like, thank you very much. Yes.
Will that happen with Alex? Do you know what I mean? That he grows the confidence, gets into a better headspace, and next minute, all of a sudden, it just fucking unleashes, like, do you know what I mean? That his talent, do you know what I mean? The
Oh,
confidence
oh,
is
oh.
up. He's
Yeah,
happy to push it into the corners.
yeah.
You know, just like for me, I'm just like, if he can do it and beats Mark Marquez regularly, he's on the Ducati. They have to put him onto a Ducati. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like they have to, like, or Aprilia,
yeah. A lot of
or
people are saying, "Oh no, Mark would never go to a Ducati. He's going to stay there for all his life." That guy was the fan voice. Or and they were saying he'll never go to a satellite team. Marquez, sure he will.
yeah, sure
He
he
may.
will. Yeah,
Sure he
he
will.
doesn't. He doesn't need money anymore. He needs
Now,
he needs that title. He needs that title.
and if he's on a satellite Ducati, that satellite Ducati is going to all of a sudden have the best parts. They're
Well,
just same
yeah,
parts as the factory parts.
I don't doubt that. And I think Ducati would do the exact same thing they did with Bastianini last year,
Yeah, yeah.
and like that's fine.
Even better. Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like if they have someone in a fight for a championship or in a fight for a factory seat, they gave them as level equipment as they could give them.
Mhm.
Which I think is really good and really fair. And let them fucking duke it out on the track. Then, do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. But they would give him like I would think that if they signed him, right? Say they signed him and they went to Grassini. Now we know Grassini's a satellite, right? All of a sudden Grassini would have they say it was 24. Grassini would have a 24 bike for him, not a 23. And then he would have all the parts. He would be more or less just a factory
See,
implant in the Grassini team.
this is the thing, right? With a Duke, I know this sounds ridiculous, right? But the difference between the 21 and the 22 was fucking nothing, really, right?
Yeah.
When it came to racing. And the difference between the 22 and the 23 will be nothing either. Do you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
True.
it's not
True.
it's not a drastic change that they're going to try and do, because like how do you know what I mean? Now saying that and coming from a Honda to a Ducati must be mind blowing difference and change of reality. Like,
Oh God, yes.
do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Imagine going into the corner and the fucking thing turns.
Yeah, can you
And
imagine?
it
You're
doesn't
like, oh my
try-
God, oh my God. All of a sudden you're easy. All of a sudden you go, hey, what was that? That was yeah,
And it kind of
so easy.
Joe resembles Lorenzo and the butter movement going through the corner, like just like butter, like how you butter
Yeah.
your toast, so smooth, and it kind of does remind me of that. So like Ducati is now the Yamaha of years ago, where
Years
if you're
ago,
coming in, that's the bike you want to be
It
on.
would be on, right?
But I just think it's going to be interesting if Alex regularly beats Mark. Mark will he'll have to change manufacturer. He couldn't, he couldn't be fucking. No, that's like being rejected by the woman that your brother gets. Like,
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You couldn't live with it, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Or you won't, or they wouldn't sleep. I won't sleep with the girl's hot sister because there's related. Sure you would.
Yeah. Maverick, I just don't know what to make of him.
Yeah.
Really,
Have we ever knew what the hell Maverick's doing? Does anyone?
No.
I don't even know if the team knows what Maverick's doing.
Yeah,
From race to race.
He's normally the testing world champion. He normally bangs in a fast lap towards the end, and I don't know. I think he has an awful lot to worry about with Oliveira. I think Jack and Brad, I'm really excited to see their dynamic. Do you know what I mean? One is very open, and Brad is quite private. Do you know what I mean? He's talkative. Don't get me wrong, but like Jack is like, what color is the wall? Well, it looks yellow. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Brad would be a little bit more political. Well, it's actually a shade of this, the shade of that.
Yeah, shade of that. Yeah, it's kind of like Puerto Rican sunrise. It's
Yeah. So I'm interested to see that. I wonder though, with Paul Espargaro then was saying, "Oh, on Honda I couldn't use the rear brake. Now I have to readapt my." And I'm just like, are you already making excuses?
Who is this?
Paul Espargaro.
Oh, yeah.
With the gas that he had to rechange it. And yeah, the gas situation is very, very weird that the engine that they're using must have. Now, I don't think they could have anything different in parts of the engine. Do you know what I mean? Because gas are not a manufacturer.
Right.
But the engine note is much lower and V-twin sounding than the screamer of the KTM.
Oh, okay. Didn't say that. I did not hear him, so I didn't know. When you
I'll send you a video later. I'm trying to edit it.
Okay. Well, that would account, by the way, that would account for the difference. Screamers always have more power than Big Bang. Always. It's even because as it fires evenly all the way around we say spots on the tire, where the Big Bang goes ba-bang, and then it freewheels, right? You're in the crank, right?
Yeah.
Ba-bang, and it freewheels. Then ba-bang, and it freewheels. Where a screamer's going bang, 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 bang. So you get, and it's way more balanced also. It's more dependable, and it's much more balanced, and you get more horsepower out of the screamer. That's why I was wondering if Yamaha, right, is going to go from the cross-plane crank, right, which is like a Big Bang type thing, right, to the flat plane crank, which you see regular, like your super bikes. Everybody has one, but Yamaha, which is a better balanced engine and gives more horsepower, and it's easier on the crank. See, it's harder on the crank to have it hammer and then freewheel, hammer and then on the freewheel. And the crank is really what the problem. The crankcase bearings, all right, and the flex in the crank is really the problem that Yamaha's having, and it's a big problem. You know, they didn't lose. You don't get rid of a whole year, the whole 22 years engines, the engine program. You don't ditch it, okay? I've never heard of it happen in all my years, okay? 40 years of watching this stuff, never heard of it happening. So they're actually updating a 2021 engine. Right? And you know it doesn't happen overnight. So did they fix that? No, it's really an unfixable problem.
I think it's an inherent problem in the design of the engine that we're trying or attempting to fix in the 22 that they had to abandon. You know.
Yeah. It was hard to get through to people when I say that. Sorry, it was hard to get through people on the site. It was just whoosh, you know. And we were talking about with the aero, it was people weren't understanding it.
I found a lovely aero graph actually explaining.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like an idiot's guide to. Oh, so that's what it does.
Right. We need that one.
Right. Because I was able to look at it and go, okay, that's what it does. Right? And it's all colors and it's everything, and you can see the little jet stream. And
I want to write the Beast Board and have them do a video because they're very good at that.
I'm actually going to try and see if I can reach out to a guy called Craig Scarborough. He's known as Scarbs. He does all the F1 aerodynamics and engineering and all of that.
Oh, so I'll tell you something after the show that's going to fit in. Yes.
But yeah, look, it'd be really interesting to see how they get on, and I think it'd be interesting to get him involved see if we can get him involved as the Red Bull and F1 teams are getting involved in MotoGP. You know, it might be a good platform for him to start looking at also.
No, I can tell you here, I believe he's involved with that Racing is Life that gave us such good reviews.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not 100%. I have to look at it, but that name just popped in my head. I think that's the guy that is involved.
Craig Scarborough, Scarbs.
The Scarborough was the name that popped up in my head.
Right. Yeah.
That's a quote. That's a quote from Steve McQueen, "Racing is Life."
Oh, right. Okay.
Famous. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was famous for the quote was that like, racing is everything, and the rest of the time is just wasted.
Racing. I think it was racing is life, and then the rest were just waiting to do it, or something like that. Racing is life. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So look, loads really to go through this week on videos and show you little things that I spotted and trying to get more pictures. It is.
Your pictures have been phenomenal, buddy. Phenomenal.
It's
Kudos.
nightmare trying to get them. It's like going around to all
You're the
different
best.
websites and whatever. And while you were fielding questions at 6 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah.
I was dogging it on Twitter trying to find
I
these
know. That's what
pictures
kept
and
me
whatever.
going, buddy.
And
He's going to give me some great picks you're going to have to do.
yeah. So it was just like, look, it was really interesting. I can't wait for Portimao just to see how things fare there. We're really going to actually start looking though at the Superbike times versus the times there, because I do think towards the last day of Portimao they have to turn up the wick. They have to run what they brung. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Do you know, they like it's too late at that stage. Like, I think Ducati are going to come out with something and make
I don't know.
everyone
I don't think
go,
we're going
what
to
the
see anything
fuck are you
new.
doing?
Maybe Ducati. You never know with
Yeah.
Ducati. You know.
I did find it interesting though that they moved the whole shot device to the handlebar
Yeah.
rather than on
It
the
makes
headstock.
sense, though. It makes sense. Think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't.
no,
It doesn't. For the whole shot, but you have to turn the whole shot device off, don't you? I don't know that much.
no. You engage it once and then that's it.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah,
Well, then I'd put it somewhere else. I wouldn't get it involved
but
with.
that's why it was that why it was in the perfect place on the headstock.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I
both
mean?
done, and then that might be for something else, but
Probably, yeah. See, that's the fucking thing with GG. Like, do you know what I mean? He's all these
yeah.
cables going up, and sure, it could be something completely different. But look, I thought the test overall, I was really happy. Uh, I am a little bit pissed off, I suppose, with the test that it happened in Malaysia. Do you know what I mean? Um,
It was just,
uh,
I think it was just bad luck. I mean, isn't Malaysia pretty good this time of year? They just
it
happen to hit rain.
well, like it's 4 o'clock every day. There tends to be rain anyway. Do you know?
Oh,
So
it's one of them plays. Yeah, it's like an
yeah, well,
island
look,
where everything.
that's
Yeah,
because the humidity in the air. Do you know what I mean? And then just anyway, but
open,
like,
open testing. We need open testing.
never going to happen. Listen,
I know.
yeah.
At least a ton more. You know, come on.
Listen,
Dorna, if they're
right?
listening to for big shots now, Dorna, you screwed up. Okay, you know.
Okay, so look,
He's a big man to admit to be a big man. Admit you made a mistake. And
we'll make
testing.
we'll make a deal, right? You get a picture with Pamela Anderson on your arm.
Yeah,
I will officially write to Dorna and ask for open testing.
I already did. I already wrote the Dorna, by the way.
Yeah, but you probably wrote in a fucking crazy.
Yeah,
fucking open testing, you bastards.
You stupid old bastards! I seen younger faces on cash.
That's it. But
how many times you got to screw up, get your fingers out of performance?
But
I was gonna say, think about it, guys. How many times? Somebody tell me where Jordan, FIM, the 1 to 2, has not gotten involved with the performance of a vehicle, a performance in racing, and not got it screwed up. I'm trying to think back. Did they ever get that right? No. That should just be left up to the manufacturers. That's one thing F1 has right. That the manufacturers.
That's my point.
Yeah.
When did you see Formula One, who own Formula One's rights, interfere with the technical stuff of the FIA? Now, they actually hate each other at the moment, right? Because the FIA fellas is basically... So, Bernie sold F1 for whatever it was, 4.6 billion.
Yeah.
Some Saudi crowd were trying to buy F1 for 20 billion. Your man from the FIA comes out and he said,
"Oh yeah,
so it's inflated prices." Right? So now, while now he's still the head of the FIA, right? It's the head of the single seater department will be doing the day-to-day work in F1. But like it just shows you, right? Like there's fucking stupidity everywhere. Like in every sanction in sport.
If I was in that deal, I would literally have him. If I was a young man, he would literally be drugged behind a car for a few miles for doing that. That's like, that's screw up. I'm sorry, we have to take your life for that. You cost us too much.
Another thing that I have to mention was that we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. We're not going to name the name of the channel, but they were putting out fake and
Oh yeah, everybody buried them. You know that?
But they released a video actually saying that they got caught by Dorna, and I read some of the comments actually.
Oh, everybody buried them. Everybody buried them.
Yeah. So I do want to clear something up, right, on this, right? That this person was mentioning about Dorna being money grabbing, and it's business, right? But and how it's unfair on YouTube creators. So, as a YouTube creator, I'm going to answer this back, right? That firstly, you have to respect that Dorna owns the rights to all of the videos.
Yes.
But Dorna has never knocked on a person's door for using a photograph. Now, this person got banned by YouTube and his channel taken down because you get 4 strikes on YouTube. So your first strike is a warning. If you use copyrighted content, you get what's called a strike, right? But you get a warning, then you get taken down for a day or whatever it is. Then you get taken down that you can't publish. Now your videos will be allowed, still show, but you will not be able to upload or interact with your audience. And the last one is that they permanently give you notice that they're taking down your site. And this is what happened to that guy.
I warned him, by the way. I warned him. I said, don't do this. Don't do this. He kept doing it. I said, don't copy. You're going to get nailed. Don't clickbait. You're going to get nailed. And he was copying the whole thing. And by the way, folks, Mac's not being snotty. He's actually reached out and helped other creators. Just for saying, hey, good job. You know, you're doing a good job. Wish you luck and all that. This guy was just being a snot.
Yeah, but look, he's put out a video basically saying, and if you're a MotoGP fan, yes, we know there is a lot of dirty laundry there. We know ticket prices can always be worked on, right? But when you break things down, the price of a ticket is actually not that bad, or the price of the app is not that bad. Like if you, I think my renewal comes up in a couple of weeks' time, right? And I think it works out that it's going to cost me like $12.50 a month for the full app.
Yeah, mine's $120 a year. Okay,
so it's just
how do you beat that? I mean,
so look, yeah, but my point is that there's a lot of people coming around lately, and you'll know it straight away. Someone comes in and overnight they have 1,000 subscribers. All their videos are getting 50 and 60,000 views, and they have 100 subscribers. It just doesn't really work like that, you know. And take it from someone who knows. Even if you go to my channel and look at my first videos that I ever put out, if I got 50 views, I was fucking celebrating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So nothing happens instantly unless it's a very trending topic that has just happened. But this guy launched, these guys launched after the last test, and they were getting hundreds of thousands of views and videos.
Yeah, they fart on the screen and it was coming up 100,000 views. It was absolute bullshit.
Yeah, and look, and I just want to clear that up for fans who think that YouTube and Dorna are unfair to creators. They're actually not. They're quite lenient. Yeah. Let's be fair, right? But we have
other good creators out there. Gravel Trap's a good creator. The new guy for Rider One, he's a good creator, and he also puts up. They also put up like source where they got the information from. Then you know the guy's on the legit. You know, like you'll hear us say something, we'll tell you where it came from. You know, or where we got this, where we heard it, to the best of our ability. Sometimes I'll say something that's 12 years old. I can't remember what site I saw 12 years ago, but you know.
Look, it's just look. There's a lot of negativity going around about that, and look.
And he had 4 sites too, or 3 sites at least.
He had a few, but look, I think for me it's just. I don't want to call people out, but like when people are publicly lying or playing victim, which is one of the comments actually in his thing, is that someone said, you received 4 warnings, but yet you still did it. You know what I mean? You're playing victim here. And again, it comes down to sitting, reading, understanding, trying to put 2 and 2 together to give people insight. And some of these people were just reading a script or reading an old story.
Yes, they were.
Putting it together using using
other people's stuff. Yeah.
other people's content, and other people's, I won't say videos, but well, they were technically because they were belonged to Dorna, and eventually Dorna clamped down and said no more using our videos or else. Yet the next video that they did, they used it again. So
By the way,
I think it's called fair game, you know?
Yeah. By the way, we would like to, and I'm asking, this year, we want to do some more World Superbike stuff. We want to add that in because World Superbike is, I love World Superbike also. But, you know.
I really like World Superbike, but I have one major problem.
What's that?
It's called James Toseland.
Oh, yeah, you say a lot of guys don't like him for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I would prefer to shit in my hands and clap.
He just grates people. I tolerate him. I don't think he's a great announcer or anything, but he just, he gets sucked off a little bit.
Listen, look, he was a talented writer. He's a very talented pianist. I got that right. He plays the piano. But he's absolutely shocking a commentary. Like, put Jamie Whittam back in there, please.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie Whittam was great. Yeah, he knew his stuff too.
Exactly.
You know what else was good? Freddie Spencer was pretty good too.
He was, but he wasn't the James Whittam who'd be laughing at his own jokes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whittam was great.
Two boys pucking the head off each other. Do you know what I mean? He's like, "Go on, give to him." Do you know what I mean?
Maybe you and I should commentate one on the side. We'll just put one up how they kick us off. But we'd have a blast doing that.
So this is actually one of the things we're going to put this out quite soon, right? I'm not sure when, right? But the next public holiday that we have in Ireland, or maybe we might do it some Sunday. I don't know, because the pod goes out on Monday, doesn't it? So, but we might do the podcast live.
Da-da-da.
As in, you can come and ask us a question.
Oh, I love that.
Talk about our good looks, etc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
call me a rotten bastard, Honda hater. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like you're getting good at booting people from the chat rooms. So.
Oh yes, yeah, I am. If I could smell a freaking delirious fanboy from a mile away now.
Yeah, but we may look at doing a live one very soon. I think.
In my defense, I booted them and like everybody cheered.
I actually saw that. I did actually see people thanking you for booting people out, which I thought was funny in my view.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think time might be now, or maybe maybe what we might do. Maybe after the first sprint race.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Guys,
we wing it as it is. It's not like we have it's not like we go before. Oh, we're going to say A, B, C, or D. We're just as it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, and look, I think that's the natural. We can have an agreed script, but I think that would take away from what we normally have, and I think most people don't understand is that this is what normally happens within the background, like within or whatever. I do want to take a shout out actually to Sleepwalker. Your T-shirt is on the way, okay. So he's going to be proudly wearing that. Some bad news in Ireland and Northern Ireland is that there's a lot of trouble running motorbike racing events this year. So all the road races, probably with the exception of the Northwest 200, are looking like they're going to be cancelled.
Why? What's the problem?
Insurance.
Oh Jesus, that's always a killer. That killed everything here.
Yeah, insurance. They're looking for.
We used to race. We raced the lawnmowers that killed it too.
They're looking like for 500,000 to do it. So I'm going to put a link in tomorrow's description. Basically, there's a GoFundMe for the thing within Ireland with all the motorbike clubs or whatever. I'm going to try and raise the money to actually pay the fucking insurance or find someone to do it. It's a sad state of affairs. It's been left down by politicians and sports councils like that, who are all good at sports.
It's the lawyers. Come on, this is the lawyer legal system.
It is, but look, it went from like 200,000 last year to like 500,000 this year.
Yeah,
It's a massive jump, and despite all the best negotiations, like when you look at events like the Northwest 200, I know that now will probably go ahead, but like it brings like 20 million in revenue alone to those three towns that it touches. Do you know what I mean?
And what happened? I'll bet you somebody got hurt. Okay. Oh, you hit my Johnny. Well, your Johnny was racing with or my Johnny crashed and now it's suing. Your Johnny was running out there with a motorcycle with spokes running loose in the tires. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, oh, look,
piece of crap or somebody who jumped on the track or something is their own damn fault.
I 100% get it. I genuinely do. But when I look then that there's 300,000 put in a park somewhere for an open gym that no one fucking uses.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough, Joe. He can do that, and he can't.
Or we had a gay pride, great gay pride,
Well, you don't mind that, right? You don't mind that. Like I wouldn't be going there, but look, if people want to go there, that right. But I suppose look what
we love transvestites.
It's just like for me, it's a sport that there's a massive following. There's like realistically, what would probably happen is that like 8,000 or 10,000 people are going to pay 50 quid each, and that's going to solve the problem. But look, I put the link anyway in the description. If you do have something, Joe, I love and I do cover the road racing here. It would be an absolute shame if that was not to happen. I understand, Joe, there is risks and expensive risks when claims go in, but again, still, it's a sport and it's something that brings a lot of revenue to the island of Ireland. So I think politicians need to sort this shit out, But other than that, on a happy note, MotoGP is back. Loads to talk about.
Yep. I want to give a shout out to Evolution Bikes because I got all my parts in for my MV, and to CNC Racing. I got my new levers. Oh, they're like
your levers.
Like my levers, excuse me, are like a fine watch.
Proper English. Proper English.
Oh, you don't have proper English. No. You're Irish, okay?
That's it.
You're screwing up. Just the English actually did proper English. You're screwing up just like we do.
We're the only ones that ever took down an empire with pitchforks.
Yeah, well, they're still trying with the pitchforks today. They haven't got any farther.
We do. Fuck it, Joe. We still get confused at the top of a mountain with our mobile phone rings and say, "Fuck it, how would I find this here?" Yeah. I know we're not that bad anymore, but MotoGP is back. Great to have a chat again. No doubt we'll be chatting throughout the week. I'll be sending Joe, like we have a very weird relationship, Jake. Normally people would be sending two fellas would be sending people porn pics or something like that. Or
no,
it's motorbikes.
Did you see that?
Did you see the bolt right there? Did you see the tiny little bolt? It was like whoa. Anyway.
I did it. We just did that. I was like, hey, check out the KTM chassis where it comes down on the top too. I swear it has a build aluminum base like the MV and the Moto. Still, look that up. I'm serious.
I know.
I swear that has that.
I actually haven't had the chance to sit down. And Sleepwalker still hasn't sent me the vernier calipers.
Yo, how long has it been?
Months. But anyway, we'll wrap it up there for this week, and we will be back again next week. And obviously, I'll have more videos throughout the week. Jake will be doing his monitor business, so don't give him a reason to boot you.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll see you soon.
We're fanboys fear to tread. MotoGP Mac.
All right. Have a good one, all.
Take it easy.